here we are, Sam, Andy, and Gus, headed to Las Salinas.
What'd you think?
That's awesome. It is so, I don't know, like surreal.
What's a crumple zone?
This is 17 or 18 inches between your butt and the bottom of it.
Basically every other paramotor that you get in, besides the walker jet, which they don't make anymore, you get into it on the ground like this. And then the way you get out of it, or the way you stand up, is you lean back, you rock back on the paramotor, you push yourself forward and get your hands on the ground, and you stand up. You have no crumple zone. You come in, hit the ground, hit your butt. This, you hit right on your crumple zone. The other thing I like about the motor, when you sit like that and you have the crumple zone, the motor's lower. The thrust point's going to be lower. If the thrust point's on your middle of your back, like most of those paramotors that sit on your back, your hips tend to, you twist at the shoulders. When you hit the throttle and you're running, it has more of an effect where it makes you like kind of wobble. It's it's kind of weird. It's up so high and you twist here and you're running around like this. It'll twist and just kind of throw the thrust in different directions. When it's sitting more on the middle of your back, it's more of a steady, more level push. So that's the other benefit of it. The only benefit of not having the crumple zone is when the motor sits up on your back, it's more comfortable. This one, the weight's more low. I'd take this any day of the week because the thrust is better and the safety especially. But not only do you have the crumple zone, you got face plant protection. So if you fall on your face, you put your hands out, you're not going to break your wrists. Your hands may touch the ground first, but this face plant protection is going to hit the ground and absorb all the impact before your hands even get pushed back. They won't even get pushed back far enough to hit the Kevlar netting. There's plenty of injuries in the sport because people fall, they don't have face plant protection, and they don't have Kevlar netting, and it actually pushes their elbow all the way back into the prop. Wow. So the other cool thing is if you're trying to do a wingtip drag, you catch the cage on the sides, you're still not going to hit your face. Because this cage catches, the crumple zone catches, the face plant protection catches, and you're strapped in here, so nothing hits on you. Now this has low hang points and they're fixed hang points. This is really neat. You get into a riser twist, your riser twist is going to be right here, just like your reverse kiting. You can drop your brakes, you can grab whatever you need to do. If you have a cravat over here, you can grab the stable line and get that out. If you have high hang points, like most other machines, you're hanging from right here, where your reserve things are. If you get a riser twist, the riser twist is going to be here. You cannot reach past that riser twist to get a hold of your stuff. There's a good video on YouTube of a guy that gets in one of those with high hang points, and he just slowly keeps turning. He just keeps riser twisting. And he's sitting there reaching, he finally gets it to stop, and he's like holding on to the thing, and he starts like kicking his legs, and just one turn at a time comes out. It takes like a minute and a half. With this, we could have stopped it immediately, got it stabilized, let go of the brakes, on ourselves, grab the main brakes.
Now, how do you unspin yourself? The main risers?
When you're twisted,
yeah,
just because of the weight, it'll usually, unless it's a whole bunch of riser twists, usually just the weight, it'll want to untwist.
Oh, okay.
If not, you just grab and you spin yourself.
My name's Dell, and I'm a wild man.
So you get everyone to stand behind the frame. Put your hand in here when you're going to start. What this does is if the motor starts running away on you, it just goes to full throttle. When you're holding it right, your hand locks in here. It can't fit through the throttle. Okay? And it locks down on your hand like this. You got the Kevlar netting and everything. So if it goes to full throttle, you're underneath the cage, the prop can't get to you. I've seen on a different motor, a guy was warming up his motor, and the netting was so weak that he was looking like this, and he had a GoPro on, and he pushed the netting right into the prop with his GoPro and exploded his GoPro.
Oh my god.
And he couldn't even feel that he was pushing on the netting. So this right here is very important. There's a lot of injuries in contact with the prop on just warming it up. Because they don't have anything, you know, you have to grab something like this. Your hand slips off, your thumb slips off, it's going into the thing. This right here locks on your hand. Another thing, before you start your motor, always, 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 every time, he is a wallower. Check this, should never run away. And then started, after we do that, usually I give 3 pulls at 0 throttle. The 4th one, I squeeze the throttle in and pull it, it starts right up. So. I like to let my motor warm up for 45 seconds before I start throttling. The whole time you're listening for misfires, making sure it's vibrating properly, you're kind of looking at everything, making sure nothing's coming loose. Once it gets warm, you start throttling up. And always make sure your kill switch works. What the kill switch does is it basically grounds the electricity from the spark plug to the block. If the kill switch is not working, the only thing it can be is there's either a break in your cable or it came undone. Your negative switch for the kill switch attaches right here to the bottom left bolt of your pull starter. Everything came off. You know, just came undone for some reason, and put it back in there. It'll work. If you land and your motor doesn't shut off and you land, just drop the glider down, reach back, plug your motor. Now let's see what the list has to say. Morning, Blake. Morning. Or afternoon. Morning. Yep. Unit fully assembled, frame cage, vectors, lugs, comfort bars, everything's in place. That's enough. I gotta go. Start engine, warm up, listen for unusual sounds, vibrations, look for fuel leaks or loose fittings. And kill switch, make sure that works. That's pretty much it. How often do you changing this fuel filter out? Do you know? About once a year. Oh, okay. Same with the belt. About once a year. Oh, okay. But I've had my last belt on there for over a year, and it's great condition. How about in the air box? You're talking about the foam filter. Some of them don't have them, and some do, or good. Yeah, they don't. I keep one in mind. I imagine if you want to, they get a slightly, I think, a little bit more horsepower without them. It's just my preference to have one in there, especially on a beach, not on a beach, yeah. Or in Mexico with all the dirt and stuff like that. So, any other questions you guys got? Fire it at me. Who wants to put one on? Oh, let me go over the 120. Difference in the 120. This one has a clutch, and the prop spins the opposite direction. So you're going to weight shift to the left to counter the prop torque on the Ninja. You're going to weight shift to the right to counter the prop torque on the 120. This has less torque because it has less power, but also because the piston and the prop spin opposite direction.
What the heck is that?
I don't know, it's some sort of plant.
Big balls. We got big balls on this beach. What the heck?
It's a type of kelp.
Oh.
Grab your throttle, make sure it doesn't stick. Check here, make sure it doesn't stick. You're just looking for any, visual stuff, same stuff on this. Check the tightness of the netting, make sure all the Velcros are tight, all that good stuff.
How do you tighten up the netting?
The netting is, if it's not tight, it's broken.
Okay.
So, just in the back, get another kit.
Can you adjust your idle while it's running, or no?
No.
You shut off and then adjust it, and then
Yeah, but to adjust your idle, it's this screw right here. And on this one, it's going to be this screw right here. All that does is push this down a little more. And you screw it in.
I don't know. There's like some plant that are big balls.
Not as scary. And then you check your kill switch when you're throttling it. Okay.
Yep. This is a no weight shift kit.
Oh.
You don't have a whole lot of movement. That's how the flat top was originally designed, but Dell figured out that you could add an extra 5.5 inches right here and turn a hell of a lot easier. So, and small guys or big guys can't fit, but you can't shift your weight over the proper sides. If you look on this machine,
Are we good?
where it comes out, 5.5 inches on both sides. The way you weight shift is throw your hips, your shoulders. I even sometimes pull myself over with my arm. I really want to, I throw my leg over. You got all this space over here. Most of my weight is on the right side. If in the other direction you're flying, you want to weight shift hard. Some people will weight shift like this. That's counterproductive because your butt's over there. That's where most of your weight is. So make sure, I usually pull myself over initially once I'm over there. Hold it. Hang points. Second hang point is where I fly. You're going to be on the first. She's on the first. You're probably going to be on the third. You'll probably be on the third. You'll probably be on the second. But this is major adjustments from the hang points, from one clip to the next. To make minor adjustments, you have this right here. They're called lumbar supports. So if you are leaning too far back while you're flying, you can just let go of your brakes. Pull these more forward, put them in. If you're tilting like this, you can make minor adjustments. Pull them like this. And loosen them up. Right where you want them.
So that initially adjusts your pitch.
The minor, like, it's like, you know, from here to here is a big pitch difference. Maybe 50-pound difference in somebody. But this right here deals with all the weight in between. So you can fine tune it and put it exactly where you want. When you're flying, you want to be at about a 5-degree angle tilted back.
What position is first position?
Right here. When you're doing something,
Okay.
it's
Back
from the
forward.
prop forward. Yep, from the back forward. Same on
So
the
the heavier you are, the more forward you want to go.
Yes. It also has to do with height. People that are taller, like the sand guard is the reason I'm on the second hang point. Normally I'm on the first hang point. How much do you weigh?
165, 170.
Okay, so you're 5-10 pounds heavier than me. Because you're longer and your weight's going to be hanging lower, you're going to be on the second hang point.
Okay.
Without the sand guard. But if the sand guard, I definitely suggest out on the beach because it'll save your prop, make it last about 3 times longer. If you're inland, you're launching in grass and stuff like that, I wouldn't have one. It makes you pitch a little bit more, which is why you change the hang points and adjust. And I think you lose a little bit of thrust just because it's blocking the air intake. But this motor's so powerful, the thrust you lose still makes you more powerful than most other engines on the market.
Run like a crazy man.
How do you adjust the slack, like your bottom belt that comes up? Where do you want that sitting?
Same for everybody. Even or just below this bar.
Okay.
If it's any higher, you won't be able to, it won't come up. When you lift your legs up, you won't automatically get in your seat. That's another great thing about the flat top. When you lift your legs up, the seat comes under your butt. The other ones you're kind of strung up, by your groin until you get high enough to where you feel safe enough to take your hands off the brakes and then push the seat under your butt. It's not an easy feeling, especially on first flight. The last thing you want to do is take your hands off those brakes, So this one, you just lift your feet up. See how it's straight like that? That's because when you lift your feet up, it literally pulls this right underneath. And then to get out of your seat, all you do is just straighten out your legs and lean forward and come right out. This is not the most comfortable harness in the world. On the ground, flying, it's perfect. But it's the only one that's quick release, and it's the only one that you can automatically get in your seat. In order to gain the quick release, and most important, or not most important, but as important, getting in your seat without having to use your hands, this has to be tight, which tends to, just kind of sit funny. This is all tight, this is all tight, but you got to give up that, 10, 20 seconds you're on the ground, you're sitting real comfortable in the air, and not ever having to worry about, especially with touch and goes. Every touch and go, can you imagine trying to take your hands out there and get in the seat, or you go down and do a foot drag, you just pop out, pop right back in. It's quick release harness, I wouldn't fly a machine without it. You're coming in, you're going to make a water landing. As soon as your feet touch the ground, or touch the water, you hit this, and they say that because it's hard to judge your height above water. Me personally, I'd probably hit it about 5 feet. Or, if I'm coming into the wind to land, I would basically just do like a landing, so I basically slow down to like 1 mile an hour in the water, out. As soon as if I knew I was going in the water too, I'd also have this in my hand. That's why I hit the quick release. I got this. It lines or glider or whatever comes on top of me. Cut it out. Oh. Another method for landing in the water, they say, is you go downwind. Because when you release out of it, your glider goes in front of you, everything goes over you. Glider comes down in front of you, as opposed to like in the wind, they don't want it to fall back on you. But you guys will be so good at kiting when you leave here, you'll pretty much literally do a water landing. You'll land in the water, put the glider where you want, and get out of there. Unless you throw your reserve. You throw your reserve, feet touch the water, out. Don't worry about the equipment. I'll come get it later.
How about shoulder tension on your shoulders?
What's comfortable for you?
Okay.
Usually I fly with it a little bit looser than this. When I'm going up and I'm doing maneuvers, I like to tighten it down.
Okay.
Nice and tight. For tandems, I keep mine a little bit looser. And a lot of that's because I want my thrust to be, one, it's more comfortable. But when it's looser like this, the thrust is more down.
Oh, I see.
Like this, when it's tighter, go up like this. That's fine. All you do is, when you run, it'll hold you up. You actually lean back on it. And you point the thrust at the ground. When you're hooking in, besides the instructors here, when you go to fly on your own, I don't let anybody touch my equipment. That's a lie. I let people touch my equipment from time to time, half the time. And most of the time when somebody touches my equipment, they're trying to do me a favor and they go hook it up. And I'm just like,
You gotta redo it anyway.
yeah, I'm just like, okay, you know, and then I'll just kind of I swear to I'll pull it up and something will be messed up. Like the line will be over. I like to do all my stuff on my own. I mean, I've had people hook me in where it's like, oh, you're all set up to go. And I'm just like, okay, you screwed it up last time. Just remember that, you know. Sitting that my lines are like here, they're not crossed or anything on the glider. And I'm just like, dude, really? You know? So do all your own hook-ins and all that stuff. So if anything happens, you know, it's on you. Don't put that responsibility for somebody else. And then always check your hang points and stuff before you go and get in. Know what hang point you got. Like you don't want to get home and be like, is that the second or the third one? And call Dell. Dell's like, I don't remember, man. And
Yo.
Now the actual lines that go through the holes there, you have to worry about them if they start to fray? Or...
These?
Yeah.
Yep, but there's also a safety right here.
Okay.
So if this breaks, this goes to the seat and you're fine. Dell's got a pretty neat video out there where somebody was saying that the weld broke right here and the guy crashed. In straight level flight, the weld broke. This machine was welded by a guy named Dick Cheney out of Utah, who's the oldest aviation welder in the United States. He's building hang gliders that are flying when he was like 12. That's the man. If you look at these welds, they're perfect. They didn't break. And it's all heat treated, so there's no weak spots on it. Everything is heat treated at the same temperature except for the crumple zone, just a little bit less because that's designed to crumple. So what Dell did when they made this claim was he said, I don't care if it did break straight in level flight. The guy, nothing would have happened. He took a saw and cut it right here. And then he went through it. Yeah. Well, and you've got the camera out here, and you can see this thing starting to come up a little bit, but it was held into place by the safety. Flew around, landed. So this right here is your backup safety strap. And that's it. Sweet. All right, good job. Awesome. Yeah.
Gotta clean your lens once in a while.